crypto warriors, changing our world day by day. The way of the crypto warriors, can't rely on the bankers, no way.
Hey guys, Bix Weir. Quick update this afternoon. We got some Bitcoin action. Bitcoin up over $60,000. Woohoo! I don't know what it means. It could be a fake run. It could be... There's two things that just happened. Number one, Bitcoin ETFs are almost here. From Bloomberg, it's an article. And then also this Tether and Bitfinex settle for $42 million with the CFTC. I don't know what's going on with the DOJ. I don't know if the SEC's... I don't even know. Truthfully, I would love it if the Tether thing, the Tether con just went away slowly. That would be great for cryptos. So this is good news for cryptos. This, I would say, is probably the worst news for cryptos. Bitcoin ETFs are almost here. Now, I'm going to read this. This is what made, supposedly, that's what all the crypto news outlets are saying. It was the approval of ETFs. But if you read the article from Bloomberg, first of all, it's complete hearsay. I heard it from someone who heard it from someone. And second of all, they aren't talking about a Bitcoin ETF. When you think Bitcoin ETF, you think, oh, an entity is starting a company that's going to be buying Bitcoin, and so you can get shares of it. You could get shares that holds the Bitcoin in the ETF. That is not as what is explained here. What they're explaining is a crazy Bitcoin derivative. And we know what Bitcoin derivatives do. It's all about manipulation. There's going to be a massive amount of crypto derivatives so the bad guys can continue the control. By the way, today, Dan Berkovitz, it's his last day at the CFTC. He was the chief legal counsel during the silver rigging of 2009 to 2014 with Gary Gensler as his boss. As of today, he's leaving the CFTC. He has a week off, and then he goes to work for guess who? Gary Gensler at the SEC as chief counsel for the SEC. So if you think manipulation is going to end, it just gets more complicated, if you ask me. Anyway, Bitcoin ETFs are almost here. Also, Tether Index membership and Shredded Banksy. Anyway, Bitcoin ETF. If you buy shares of an S&P 500 index exchange traded fund, what does that fund do with your money? There's a technical answer about in-kind creation and authorized participants that I'm going to ignore here. To just say the fund takes your money and uses it to buy shares of the 500-ish stocks in the S&P 500. If you slice open the S&P 500 ETF, you will find a bunch of stocks it owns. When you own shares of the S&P 500 ETF, you own a portion of the big pot of stock that it owns. We get that. Okay. Now listen to what Bloomberg says. And this is the article that crypto people are claiming was the inside source that they think a Bitcoin ETF is going to start. If you buy shares of a Bitcoin ETF, what does the fund do with your money? Again, I will ignore technical creation mechanics. Also, of course, this is a trick question. You cannot buy in the US shares of a Bitcoin ETF. Bitcoin ETFs do not exist, but they soon will. Bloomberg's Katie Griffith and Vindala Hirdjek and Benjamin Ban report. It took 3 of them to report it. Why did it take 3 people to report this? And here's what they reported. The Securities and Exchange Commission is poised to allow the first U.S. Bitcoin futures traded fund to begin trading in a watershed moment for the cryptocurrency industry, according to people familiar with the matter. That means they're making it up. The regulator isn't likely to block the products from starting to trade next week, said the people who asked not to be named while discussing the decision. Unlike Bitcoin ETF applications, and the regulator has previously rejected, the proposals by ProShares and Investco Limited are based on futures contracts that were filed under mutual fund rules that SEC Chairman Gary Gensler has said provide, quote, significant investor protections. Now listen to this. This is crazy. I mean, the whole idea, Bitcoin ETFs getting approved. So what will the Bitcoin ETF do with your money? Here is the answer. Number one, so you put your money into this Bitcoin ETF thinking you own a share in Bitcoin, in the Bitcoin held by the ETF. Number one, it will put about 30% of the money into a collateral account at a U.S. registered commodity futures exchange to collateralize positions in cash-settled Bitcoin futures. So you're just buying Bitcoin futures. 30% of that money is buying Bitcoin futures, which is a Bitcoin derivative. The futures exchange will presumably hold the collateral in bank accounts or treasury bills or whatever. What? So the futures exchange will hold the collateral in... Number two, this is the 70%. What happens to the second 70% of this Bitcoin ETF? It will put about 70% of the money into money market securities, treasury bills, or high-grade commercial paper or whatever. Basically, if you slice open the Bitcoin ETF, you will find a bunch of US dollar cash equivalents, plus a cash-settled bet with a futures exchange that the price of Bitcoin will go up. If Bitcoin goes up, the ETF will get more cash to plop into the security. If Bitcoin goes down, the ETF will have to sell some of those securities to hand over some cash. If Bitcoin doubles, the ETF's cash will more or less double. If Bitcoin goes to zero, the ETF's cash will more or less disappear. The ETF holds a synthetic Bitcoin, cash plus a derivative to make that cash go up and down based on the price of Bitcoin. It is ridiculous. This is a constructed Bitcoin derivative that the only thing they can do with it is use it to manipulate price. Bloomberg, I don't even know this is going to happen. Gary Gensler knows this. How could he not? It is insane. So cryptos are going up. You go to any of the crypto news feeds, you're going to see Bitcoin going up because the ETF is about to be approved. This is what they're saying is about to be approved. A Bitcoin derivative ETF that is nothing but horrible for Bitcoin. Anyway, again, this guy is gone. Dan Berkovitz, as of today, Friday the 15th, is gone. He gets a week off, then he goes to work for his buddy, Gary Gensler, so that they can help rig the SEC, con, whatever, keep the system alive. As Don Stump here, the remaining chairperson besides Rustin Benham, the criminal chief, Don says, we cannot, our number one concern is not free and honest trading. We cannot let the value of people's retirements go down. That's what Don Stump said. It's not about the law. It's about saving a rigged system. We cannot let people's retirements just go away. That means they cannot support the law. They will never enforce the law. Anyway, on the good note is Theta and T-Fuel haven't moved at all since this news. I don't know how much. Yes, I do know that they're all rigged. Everything's rigged. Theta and T-Fuel are usually rigged separately with the other cryptos. Why? Who knows? Binance is the key for T-Fuel. Binance, why Theta Labs brought on Binance as the number, obviously it was the biggest, but they had to pay them all this Theta and all this, well, they didn't have T-Fuel before that, just to get Binance to add them. And yeah, I get it. You need liquidity. But at the same time, it gave Binance, the chief crypto rigger, massive amounts of Theta and T-Fuel to rig the price as much as they want. That's why T-Fuel at one point went from like 1/10 of a cent to 50 cents, or almost 50 cents. Or I think it got to 60 cents. And it happens in jolts. And they'll get slammed down in jolts. That's all Binance rigging. And all of a sudden, it dives down and you want to buy, and Binance is already all of a sudden shut down for exchanges. You can't go to Simple Swap because everybody uses Binance. So that's what that is. Long run, Theta and T-Fuel are going to be the cryptos to own. Short run, anything can happen. That's my take. Anyway, join the road to Ruda, and I will send you 50 T-Fuel loaded on paper wallets. For all you guys who don't know how to get T-Fuel, here's a chance to get 50. Join the private road at roadruda.com. This is Bix Weir. I will talk to you guys later.
Well, you start with Bitcoin and you know nothing. You make your first wallet and you think you got something. Secure your private keys and you don't. All your coins will be gone. Now you're a coiner and it's time to learn all. For banking tech, social net, the cryptos are hard, but you gotta get your feet wet, gotta get your mindset for change. And it's the way of the crypto warriors, changing our world day by day. The way of the crypto warriors, can't rely on the bankers, no way. The way of the crypto warriors, after all the crazy politics fade away, you got something to say. Live a crypto warrior way. There's Kenny Bowes that kills, show up in your town. No fiat in his pocket, always dressed like a clown, but he pulls out his phone, always pays for what he owes in crypto. Big old John Kim erases all Charlie's doom. Satoshi light is feeling right with John in chat rooms, and he takes care of Litecoin. We know it's the right one for change. It's the way of the crypto warriors, changing our world day by day. The way of the crypto warriors, can't rely on the bankers, no way. The way of the crypto warriors, after all the crazy politics fade away, you got something to say. Live a crypto warrior way. Well, let me tell you about my friend. His name is Bitcoin Ben. A truck driving man, everybody loves him, and he's spreading the word. He shares what he heard, secret plan. And there's Snippy by Joe, can't miss the J-Snip show. Cause I confess the treasure chest which goes on the note. He teaches us tech, cause he's seen a few wrecks of go slow. It's the way of the crypto warriors, changing our world day by day. The way of the crypto warriors, can't rely on the bankers, no way. The way of the crypto warriors, after all the crazy politics fade away, you got something to say. Live a crypto warrior way. Cause everybody wants to be a hero, everybody has dreams of a better day. But if everybody knew we could change everything that we do, then everybody live a crypto warrior way. And everybody live a crypto warrior way. And you can live a crypto warrior way.
Yeah! That was great.